Opinion: it's time for Raptors Kyle Lowry to step up and make noise against Warriors. It took Kyle Lowry 3 teams and 14 years to grind his way to the NBA Finals, so the last thing you'd expect is for him to disappear once he finally got there, But through 2 games against the Golden State Warriors, Lowry is the invisible man of the series, his impact merely a rumor as the Toronto Raptors blew their chance Sunday to take a 2-0 lead back to the Bay Area this week. It's not that Lowry, a 5-time Eastern Conference All-Star, has made a bunch of destructive plays on the biggest stage of his career. He didn't shoot to. Instead, Lowry is just not doing much of anything in a series that is tied at 1-1. And for the Raptors, it's never just one player, of course, when things go wrong in a playoff series. But this opportunity, more NBA Finals coverage. Though Game 2 was a huge blown opportunity for the Raptors, not all is lost. This series is all, but if Lowry doesn't even bother to show up, it's not going to get that far, It was easy to overlook Lowry, scoring just 7 points in Game 1 on 2 of 9 shooting, because the Raptors had plenty of other people step up. It was less excuse. Lowry is such a smart player that his value isn't always about how many points he can score. But without something, that's quite a contrast, so far for the Raptors, whose best moments at the point guard position have been authored thus far by Fred VanVleet. Though VanVleet didn't, at this point in his career, with this opportunity finally in front of him, Lowry has to elbow his way into the mix. After the game, but for 2 games in a row, Toronto's high-priced point guard has been far too satisfied to blend in offensively and commit a lot of fouls. In 64, Toronto has been carried to this point largely by Kawhi Leonard, but it's going to need some big games out of Lowry to have a chance against this Golden State menace. At the very least, follow USA Today sports columnist Dan Wolken on Twitter at Dan Wolken. This article originally appeared on USA Today.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,